Hi guys, it's Suri, so welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be doing this video today. If you can't tell by the title, I'm going to be listing every single YA fantasy that I have read from worst to best. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you might know that I did a similar video back in October where I listed every single thriller that I'd ever read from worst to best. And on that video, I asked you in a poll what you wanted to see next, and many of you said fantasies. And for a second, only for a second, I considered doing a general fantasy video, but I realized I've read so many fantasies, the video would take probably 3 hours. There's not really much to tell from that because the more books you show, the more difficult it is to actually list them and rank them. So I decided to split it up between YA and adult fantasy, and I'm starting this, I guess, two-part thing with YA fantasies. So there's 3 things I want to tell you about this ranking system. The first is, I have read these books over the course of about 20 years, so I don't necessarily know why I enjoyed them anymore, I don't necessarily know the plot anymore, and I don't necessarily feel the same about them now. Take this all with a grain of salt. Number 2, within a star rating, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star, there isn't a specific order to these because, again, very difficult to say. And thirdly, for series, I have decided to take the sort of average rating of the series and put the whole series in that bracket. And now with that out of the way, let's jump right into this crazy video. First, let's talk about the DNF that essentially rated less than 1 star. That was Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I guess in the realm of this video, this is the worst YA fantasy I've ever read. I'm not sure that's true, but according to this ranking, I guess it is. I have 3 1 stars. The first is A Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. If you've been on my channel for longer, you know how I feel about this book, and I think this is probably the actual worst that I've ever read. Then we have The Magicians by Lev Grossman and Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly. Now on to the 2 stars. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, Snow Like Ashes and Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rash. This is one of the cases where I actually quite enjoyed the first book at the first time of reading it. I think at the time I gave it 4 stars, but I hated this one. The Bells by Danielle Clayton, and to no one's surprise, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. For 3 stars, I have Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, which I know most people hated, but I actually kind of enjoyed at the time. I don't know how I would feel upon rereading it now, but I don't think it was the worst thing ever. I know it's kind of generic, but I still kind of enjoyed it. The Winner's Trilogy by Marie Yurkowski, consisting of The Winner's Curse, The Winner's Crime, and The Winner's Kiss. This was another compound score, I guess, because I definitely enjoyed the first 2 books a lot more than the last. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. The Remnant Chronicles, also by Mary E. Pearson, consisting of The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness. The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo, consisting of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Die Meister der Zitadelle, another German book, I don't know the name, it might be a translation, I forgot. Incarceron, also by an author whose name I forgot. Exquisite Captive by Heather Demetrius. Dark Shores by Danielle L. Jensen. Then we come to my 4 stars. This is the largest group because a lot of series I've rated a book 5 stars and then the other books 4 or 3, and then they just end up in the 4-star category. So this is just the melting pot of everything at this point. First, we have this trilogy by Maria V. Snyder. I think the books are called Sea Glass, Storm Glass, and Spike Glass. I don't know what the whole series is called. I don't know what the first book is or anything like that, but I read these ages ago, and I apparently really enjoyed them. Tender Morsels by Margot Lanigan. The Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. 2 trilogies by Katja Brandis, a German author. This is one called Feuerblüte, and then there's a previous trilogy that's called Kampf Darisch. The Graceling trilogy by Christine Kishore, consisting of Graceling, Fire, and Bitter Blue. We have Incarnate by Jodi Meadows, which again at the time I enjoyed but have since unhauled. Fathomless by Jackson Pierce. The Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funke. Serafina by Rachel Hartman. The Aragon series by Christopher Paolini, but I've only read the first 3. This little duology by Dawn Cook, consisting of The Decoy Princess and Princess at Sea. And finally, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, because I think I rated more books 4 stars than 5 stars in that series. And yeah, I'm only holding up 1 because I have weak arms. And finally, we come to the creme de la creme, the few books that have made it into my 5-star category. Again, I'm gonna reiterate that a million times more, but I have read some of these books ages ago. I don't know if they would qualify for 5-star reads now, but this is just basically a whole bunch of books that I think if you haven't checked out at all yet, you probably should. First, with this little duology by Alison Goodman called Ian and Iona, also known as The Two Pearls of Wisdom and The Necklace of the Gods. This is like a Chinese, Asian inspired fantasy that I really loved. I've read this multiple times, really enjoyed it. We have the Stolen Songbird trilogy by Danielle L. Jensen, consisting of Stolen Songbird, Hidden Huntress, and Warrior Witch. And there's also a prequel called The Broken Ones. So highly recommend these. I've talked about them a bunch. Check it out again. Of Beast and Beauty by Stacey J, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling that I really, really loved. I read this about 5 years ago, I think. But if it's not on your radar, it probably should be. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I've yet to read the sequel, you guys. I know I'm very late to that train, but I genuinely love this book. I read it 2 years ago, and I'm planning on rereading it soon before I jump into the sequel. So this is just a gem of a book, in my opinion. Highly recommended. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I also read this book years ago, and I don't know how I would feel about it now. I am, at this point, not the biggest fan of Holly Black's writing, so who knows? But I thought it was a fun book back in the day, and it's about vampires, so maybe this qualifies more for paranormal. I actually don't know, but I really enjoyed it at the time. Again, The Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor, another series I've been planning a reread of for a while now. I just adored everything about this. It was so creative and different, and I just love Laini Taylor's writing style in general. The Stravaganza series by Mary Hoffman. These are all German editions of the first 3 books. I devoured these when I was a teenager. I was absolutely obsessed with this world. It's about people that when they fall asleep, they can kind of time travel back to like the 1700s or so in Italy, and it's about all the stuff that they get up to there, and it's just so creative, and I loved the series. I'm hoping to reread or like continue the series soon. If this sounds interesting to you and you've like never read these, definitely give them a try. His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. So far, I've only read the first 2 books in this series, but I'm currently halfway through a reread of the second. It's taken me a little bit to keep going, but I'm hoping to read this soon, finish this soon, and so far I've really enjoyed it though. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a djinn story set in 18th century Egypt, and I loved it. It was fantastic. It's kind of almost more an adult book. I'm not sure. It's kind of like on the brink between YA and adult, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. And unless I've forgotten something, that should be it for every single YA fantasy I've ever read, ranked from worst to best, at least, sort of. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know in the comments what is the worst YA fantasy you've ever read and what is the best. I would really love to know. Also, leave a comment telling me if I should do adult fantasies next or completely change to a different genre. I want to know your thoughts. Before you leave, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. I upload every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I hope to see you very soon with another video. Until then, have a lovely week. Bye!